Chapter 1, Knowings. I was raised around Mennonite communities. My first memory of church was going to a Mennonite church, and they had a very formal religious belief system that I called appeasing the grandparents with the section of my closet reserved for Sunday clothes and pantyhose that I can't wear any other day of the week. Sunday school was a fight every time. Not putting on the pantyhose was the only thing that was different. We had to appease the grandparents, and this is like women wear dresses and men don't. The biblical verse, honor thy father and mother, is beat into people living in a colony lifestyle. In religious control, they refer back to these fear-based verses to discipline, but it is acceptance of abuse and acceptance of brutality and acceptance of a lot of things under that guise. Yet I just love the pacifist nature of loving your enemies, and that violence is never the best way to solve a conflict. And at the same time, closed religious communities become these doctrines of telling as a person at the front dictates how it should all unfold, telling the followers in the church, and often those outside of the church, how to live their lives. And so, to appease the person at the front of the church, we fake it and try to fit into these unrealistic formations. But humans don't fit into separate boxes of colonies and churches and other organizations. They make us smaller, and we are here to expand. Today, I drive around rural Alberta near Lethbridge and see the colonies, and they are still very much doctrines of telling. I go buy eggs and meat from a place where they make the women and children run into buildings as I pull into the driveway. That's the doctrine of telling, and it's not being or feeling or co-creating or transforming. It's none of the things I believe are the essence of the conscious path to love. When I moved to Alberta, I was 13 years old, and my parents had decided they were going to split, which meant no more church. We moved away from the extended family that we were just, in my opinion, going to church to appease. We came to Alberta, and my dad moved back to Ontario to be a pilot. Shortly thereafter, he was flying with Air Canada, so he had to be located there. My mom stayed in Alberta and started a new relationship pretty quick. Each of my parents have been remarried for 25 years. They both found their person. But that transition as a 13-year-old is hard when your dad moves across the country, marries somebody much younger, and your mom marries somebody much older. It was a new journey for my brother and myself. After leaving the only faith I knew and diving deeper into addiction, religion had no place in my life. But after my first year in recovery, I started hearing it differently, and even went to Bible college to deepen my practice. I knew there was a deeper spiritual aspect to all the problems, and that the surface level fix wasn't the answer. I'd also found forgiveness at the essence of spiritual life, but wanted to know why I was still angry at religion. I needed to move past the logic of psychology and dive deeper into the spiritual self and deeper knowing. I understood that forgiveness is co-creation with a higher power or source energy, and once you tap into that grace, a different energy illuminates from within. When you lead with love as a result of forgiveness, you are co-creating with the unknown to feel differently and lead differently. Now let's get clear on some of the theology terminology. What do you believe? From this point on, I need you to ask yourself, if when God is referenced, does it make you want to run for the door? Are you referencing God with a little g because you believe in several of them? Are you referencing the big boom and the black hole in the stars? Are you referencing aliens? Or does it matter to you which word is used? Using different words for source or God goes back to the mystics. It was always the women rooted in nature. The men were to get commodities and resources and fight for land and to kill. And then it was dominance for empires. Man-made religion is also about dominance and empires. We are now coming back to the only thing missing, which is women's intuition, connection to nature, grounding, and breathing. It is the practice of 3 deep breaths to connect to the owl, to get to the nest, and connect to the inner source of knowings. The piece I want to communicate is to remove all denominations and all man-made religions that creates a tendency to be fake in order to uphold an image for others. My statement of faith is that our soul is our breath. Our breath is gifted to us. We come into the world with a breath, we leave with a breath. Breath. That breath is not ours. That breath is not the body. Radical, I know. In my theology studies, nobody would side with me that when I said the breath is the soul. This is mostly because Catholicism has created a logic, a model of doing, that's hopped into bed with many Western governments to create policy and societal moral compasses to have us believe that giving a charitable donation qualifies as faith. Modern-day movements like Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses do this too. Duty, 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 plus doing, doing, doing equals the path to heaven. I see breath as a soul connection because we all have it. Breath is the only thing that breaks down the borders of the world, of religions, of needing to associate, of being sober, and of belonging. All we need is to get back to breath and just intuitively connect. Breath is where logic and intuition meet the problem. We've been living in a logical world, and it's all we know. But what we truly need is quietude and silence to hear our inner self. For the science-minded, this is a book about energy. The energy that is us. The energy that is all around us. The energy that unites us and divides us. The energy that is quantum physics, epigenetics, biometrics, magic, and miracles. This is a book about the source of energy, too. The source that whispers to each person on Earth as how to access it. The source that is the oxygen, the sun, the moon, and every single human on Earth receives. The source that is the higher power of all faiths and religions, the uniting one. The source that is the giver of miracles and spiritual awakenings that keep us saying, I don't know how, in awe and wonder and mystery. This is a book about breath, too. I believe the breath is our soul. Our soul comes from a source and returns to a source. The same source for everyone. The same soul journey, here and now, somewhere else before, somewhere else ahead. A breath fed by the same trees and leaves that have been here on Earth for centuries, as well as those just planted all over the planet today. In the spirit of journaling, I've asked myself, pen to paper, some questions about the science of energy and breath and soul. Here's what was revealed for the sake of this book. What is source called? If you can name it, it's not the unseen energy of it. What does that mean? Names weaken the power of the energy of that which is unseen, yet felt. What do people call it? God, Creator, Universe, Allah, Love, Jesus Christ, Christ Energy, Jehovah, Yahweh, or hundreds of other names. Is love an energy? Yes, it is the greatest energy of all. Who says? Each belief in faith and organized religion talks about the essence of the same thing. Everyone can tap into it and feel it. That is, until they think too much about it. Then it is lost. Is love the only energy? No, but is the most important one to start with. What are other energies? Grace, forgiveness, intuition, courage, pride, fear. What else is energy? Music, art, feelings, tears, hugs, births, deaths, anger, actions, prayer, consequence. Are cults energy? Quilting groups? Hockey teams? Yes, yes, yes. Grief circles? Funeral homes? Intensive care units and emergency rooms? Yes, they are where you live or die, or live through dying, or die a certain soul death trying to survive. Are thoughts, beliefs, and actions also energy? Yes, yes, yes. Is science about energy? Yes, it's about testing the hypothesis of the seen and the unseen. Is spirituality about energy? Yes, it's about testing the feelings of the seen and the unseen. Are religions about energy? Yes, religion is about witnessing as a collective through theories as described by the doctrines. Are they the same energy? Yes. With the same outcomes? No. Why? Humans have thoughts. Humans have free will. People, mostly men, focused on power by controlling thoughts for a long time, creating cages within cages. Is perspective also energy? I think so. It's free will. Everything is energy. If you can feel it, see it, taste it, sense it, or think about it, it's energy. Things we think about become things, thus making it transfer of energy of a thought to a thing. The power of that transfer is in the movement of the energy. We can't see energy. We can't microscope it, yet we can all agree there's something to it. Our soul's energy? Yes. How? Breath. And spirits? Yes. How? They are like thoughts. You can't see them, but they are energy. Spirits and souls are energy we can't see? Yes. What about energies of dark places? That's up to you. What about energies of light places? That's up to you too. Why? People listen to someone else and take energy of what they hear and make it their own truth. And that has an energy to it. Do they change? Yes. It's the energy of states of minds. Collective or divided, energy can make people rise or fall together. It's the miracles of I don't know hows and the spiritual awakenings and the enlightened states. It's the energy of connection of the spiritual world here on earth and on the other side. What is the other side? That's up to you. What if there is no other side? That's up to you too. For the religious-minded, Jewish believers of the Old Testament believe one type of heaven. Christians who believe in the Old Testament and the New Testament believe in another kind of heaven. Believers of Jesus are now thousands of denominations that have broken down into different rites and ways and traditions that lead you there. New Thought Christians believe in heaven and other places the spirit and angel worlds are, which is more spiritual take on the feeling of the Holy Spirit. Muslims, believers of Islam, believe in a heaven and hell where judgment of your deeds and how you obeyed and lived will determine where you go. The righteous go to Jannah, heaven. Hinduism believes in the ultimate destination of moksha, or nirvana, but first you are reborn many times to your karma, a heaven of sorts. Naraka is a place to go, like hell, if you need to relearn your lessons before your next life. Buddhists believe in saga, where you are reborn or enjoy life after death for your past skillful actions, accumulated merits, and good deeds. It's a heaven of sorts. You are not punished in any way. That's a Western belief. They are all speaking of wanting to be saved, the same thing, the same place, the same pathways, and trying to live more good than bad. They all speak of trying to live more righteously and serving your neighbors while having faith and listening. Listening is what we all experience differently. Some listen through man-made repetitive words, phrases, verses, rituals, and rites. Some listen in silence. Some listen in spaces where the spirit moves through wildly. Some listen using idols and objects to support the journey. Some use prayer beads and rosaries, candles, scarves, prayers, and pillows to sit upon. Some use chants to say verses from books, rituals, and traditional repetitions of prayers. Some blend faith and science, a metaphysical world of sorts. Some use logic and soul, and I think we've lost this part of ourselves, our knowing. I think the wisdom books and the ancient texts of the mystics of the past were all talking about the same thing, and it's been lost in the noise of the world. Some talk about psychological components of the conscience, subconscious, and psyche parts of ourselves, and how they've come together to formulate our beliefs today, influenced by our environments. I think we need to examine our collection of thoughts and ask ourselves, is this true? Is this a fight worth fighting? And what if things change? We're all using the same language to talk about the same things in the same places. How do I know this? The greatest teacher I've ever had taught me.